Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a few things about prolonging the lifespan of your gears and better blade tracking on 3-channel, 3.5, and 4-channel helis for sure. I'm not sure if you can apply these methods to a 6. You can. See what happens. It's up to you. But I've done this on my 3 and 3.5 channel helis. Works awesome. Now, whether it's a coaxial or it's a single blade fixed pitch, it's going to be the same thing, okay? So we'll get that part out of the way real quick. So now we have mid-size and larger size here. Now on a mid-size heli like this yellow U6, you're going to put a couple of drops of oil on the gears, and then you're going to just run them like this, okay, until you know you've got oil on all of them. Now, you don't want too much oil, just a drop or two on each gear, and then just run it and it'll work its way through. Now, you've got brass pinions in most of these helis, and you've got plastic gears in pretty much every one of them. I haven't seen one with metal gears, but I hear they do make them. I'm still new to helis, so hey, you know, still kind of a bit of a noob here, but learning a lot of things rather rapidly too. Now, with metal pinions against plastic running dry, it's going to heat the plastic up as it's running, because the blades do run rather fast. And when the plastic gears cool down, it causes a hardening effect. And over time, this will start wearing at things. Your teeth will break easier, and especially if you have a side wipeout, crash. And you don't throttle down quick enough, you can strip gears. Now, you're not going to cure the stripping gear problem, okay? I'll tell you that right now. You will still strip gears if you have bad crashes. But the idea here is to prolong the lifespan of the gears so they don't chip apart on their own as soon. So let's just say, for example, non-lubricated, you get 100 good flights, and then your gears are done. Okay, I've heard guys get 12 flights and their gears are done. And that's apparently without crashes, but I don't know. Anyway, you'll get more flights for sure, because you're going to get the lubrication in there. The gears aren't going to run hot enough to have that cool down and hardening effect as easily, okay? Now, on these small based helis, or mid-size, your backtail rotor is a direct drive motor. You don't usually find a gear in here. You can on RC helicopters like the Oddly Exploiter helicopter. It's a big red sucker. It's actually a lot bigger than this one. And it actually has a gear drive back there, so that one you'll have to lube. But any of them that have just the motor, you don't have to do nothing back here. It's just up front. Okay, now for the blade tracking thing, these blades have to run loose. Regardless of what a lot of other people are going to tell you, they do have to run loose. I've tried running them tighter, I've tried running them really tight, and I can tell you right now, running them loose, you're going to get the best flight performance, the best flight control, and you just overall more life out of everything. Because if your blades are too stiff, what can happen is you can have one go off kilter. Even a 1 degree out off kilter, when you put it into a turn, you're going to go banking sideways like this and crash. And I know this because I've had this problem already happen. Now, this is my Cobra SO31 here, which has been painted in camo. I also have an Estes, which is the exact same helicopter in every way. Part for part, you name it, it's the same. This is the Cobra one. The SEMA is also an SO31. Etc. This will be for the SO33, which is the much larger scale heli, which I want to get one soon, because they're a lot of fun. Bigger is better when it comes to helicopters. Now on this one here, you've got 4 gears that are plastic instead of 2 like this one. So instead of lubricating the fronts here, what you're going to do is you're going to put a couple drops on the smaller diameter gear up top here, because it's a double gear, because the top half runs this one, the bottom half runs against the pinion. Okay, so now you got plastic against plastic heating up. Okay, so you got to try and keep that running cooler. So Put a couple of drops of oil in each one, and you do the same thing with the U6, so with its gears, and then just run everything like this, just by hand, just slow, just get it all nicely coated in there, but you don't want too much oil, because you don't want oil dropping onto your PCB board. Now your PCB is on the front on this one, so you really don't have to worry, but your PCB board on this one is right underneath the gears, so watch the amount of oil you use. Very little is all you need. And do that about, say, every, I don't know, 30 to 50, 60 flights. As soon as you start noticing that the oil looks like it's totally gone, and then do it again. Now, again, lubricating these gears is going to help prolong the life of the gears. Now, blade tracking. What I've noticed on these running this particular machine, because it's much larger scale than this one, I've had stiffening problems happening on one side or the other, and top or bottom. And to try and adjust it, you back off the screw, which, okay, fine, it loosens it, but then you get too much of this going on, right? And that's what you don't want. You don't want too much of that. Same with this one. You don't want too much of the up and down pivoting in here. As little as possible and still running nice and loose is what you want. So this one here I actually have to adjust. So let me just turn that down. Now that stiffened it up. I'm just going to back it off a little turn, and that's good. This one here, they're running about the same. Check the play, not much. It looks about the same. And then you'll do the same process and repeat up top. You tighten it down so it stiffens up the blade. Back it off just a little hair. And just a little bit more. Okay. This one here, same thing. That's a little tight. Check the amount of play. They're pretty close. So you can. This isn't a super high precision helicopter, so you got to get as close as possible. Okay. And once in a while, check on these main mount screws too. Make sure they are actually tight, because they have to be tight. Okay, but don't over torque them, or you'll strip the plastic, because the metal screws going into plastic. Other things to help too is to also make sure that these side screws that hold the bottom blade mount to the shaft, make sure they're also tight. Just give them a little snug every once in a while. They're good. Your bottom gear actually runs your top rotor, so what you want to do is put your thumb on the gear to stop it from moving, and then just wiggle back and forth this way as if you're trying to rotate it. And there should be almost 0 to 0 play in there. The less, the better. Okay. One thing I did notice is with the black gears, because these have the white gears are better, but the black gears in the Cobras and the Seamas, the bottom gear only has one screw now and one cutout on the top shaft for that screw. And what also would happen when it would work loose, and then when you try to throttle down, this gets a big jump of play, and poof, you crash. So these double screws are better. So if you're going to replace your gears, I know from Cobra they show it as black gear, so I don't know until you get it in the mail. But if you do get black gears and there's only one screw on this bottom gear, just pull your old brass one out with your screws on it and swap it onto the bottom gear for the new gear, and that'll definitely help. And as long as you haven't damaged your top shaft, no problems. You'll still have the two cutaways. If you do have a problem with your top shaft, then line it up and modify that other side for a cutout notch for that second screw, and then you're off to the races and you're perfect. But anyway, you are going to notice some oil shooting across the blades when you've lubricated them. I usually put about 2 or 3 drops into each one, and I'm using 30 weight non-detergent motor oil so it doesn't hurt the plastic. Detergent based oil might hurt this plastic. You know, so you got to watch it, because I know it does a real number on rubber seals, so you got to watch it on the plastics too. So use a non-detergent, 10 weight, 20 weight, 30 weight, doesn't matter as long as it's non-detergent based motor oil, and you can lube these joints and away you go, and you'll definitely have a better flying experience, and you're not going to get the blade stiffening thing going on anymore, which is going to cause you to go like this in the air and crash. So those are my little tips and tricks that I've discovered on these things. And the balance bar, no, you don't have to do anything with it other than to check the top screw once in a while and make sure it's still snug. Other than that, nothing else to do, and you can have a great time flying. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.